Well, hello YouTubers, and today is July 11th 2021, and I don't know if you can see right behind me, I got a steam engine behind me. I'm over here at the Lansford Miners Festival for 2021, and as you can see, I'm dressed for the part, and they do sell these hats here. And what I want to show you is what's right behind me. And you're probably looking at it thinking, just a pile of metal? Well, not really. There's some history to this. They just purchased this. Now, it's not an amusement park ride. It's an old ventilation fan system. And I'll get some history on this a little bit. Now, it was steam powered, so that'll tell you a little how old this is. This is going back to the 1800s. So let's have a look at this. Then after you see this, you'll notice this fence behind the Loki, and it looks like a junkyard, but what this was a fan assembly from up in Dorrance. And I'll put a link down in the video, JP Videos, and I think the Wandering Woodsman were up there about, was it 3 years ago, when this was still intact. But they took them buildings down, but the Lansford Mine Museum acquired these, and they are going to reassemble this. And I was talking to the vice president, and he said they might try to get them to operate, not at full capacity, but just enough to show movement. These things are massive. Those are all one casting. They're not part together. And you can see where they, let me zoom in a little bit here. You can see where they had to cut bolts. That won't be a problem. They'll just knock those out and put new bolts in. But yeah, that is, excuse me, I'm trying to look through a chain link fence here. That casting is one piece. Can you imagine how much that weighs? And then right in front of me, zoom out so you can see better, is the axle that turned this fan. Now there would be a wheel hooked on here. These would be clamped right here. Look at the size of those keyways. Zoom in again. Those keyways alone have to be about 3 inches wide, 1 inch thick, and I'm guessing about 14 inches long. That's these little things right here. If you can see that, those little squares. And the bolts themselves got to be at least 1.5 inches in diameter. These little bolts on top here for the bearings, monstrous. Here, I'll put my hand on the fence. It's hard to judge. I can't get up to them, but very massive. There's more to it. There's one of the steam engines. They're gonna, the cylinder and valve. Actually, I think that's the valve. No, that's the cylinder. The valves are on top. That's the slide for the connecting rod, because this would be a solid. And then for a wheel, there it is. There's the connecting rod right there. That would be attached to that through that. I know, I'm telling you, a big puzzle here. And then these are actually the fan blades that attach to those, what I call those spokes. But you can see they were riveted together. You gotta zoom in here, you can see better. See, they were riveted together. Whoops. It's hard to film through chain link fencing, especially. And they did a good job of cutting the rivets out and saving the fan blades. They got them a little hot. You can see the burn marks, but they didn't. That one's a little chewed up. But they'll be able to bolt that together. They had to cut holes in them in order to put a chain through to hoist these huge things. These things are massive. So now you can see. I'll try to get a perspective. You're not allowed to go into it, but then they have all the parts. Now this thing would be about 30 feet in diameter at least. Now, there's some more of the mechanisms that they got out of the foundations that were cement. They got them busted out. They'll probably replace them bolts. That's not a big issue. You can see there's cement residue on them. Now there was one thing here. These are all the supports. These are all the spokes that would hold it together. Now there was a wooden one I remember seeing. They said they got that, but I think they put all the wood in storage to keep it from getting wet. Oh, here it is. I missed it. Go around this way. How you doing? Yeah, you can see some of the brickwork that came out. This is like probably one of the chutes for the outlet. But there's some old brickwork there. Back in 1800s. Would have been probably the funnel for the inlet or the outlet. Massive, massive bearings. Let me see, where was that at? Yeah, there's the pedestals for the bearings. There's the shaft, the flywheel. Massive, massive structure. As you can see as I look down the fence here. I'll stand back a little. Look at the size of that flywheel. And that would have sat, this part here would have been connected to the engine over there. And this shaft would, and then that would have a slide on it, as you can see in there. That would slide through there, it would get oil, and that would be connected to this. And then in here would be where the fan and the flywheel would be. And for it to think of like a bicycle, how your legs work on a bicycle. That would have to flex then. So that's why they have the slide. And then this would be where the flywheel would be with the bearings. There's another flywheel here with the connecting rod taken off. Now I'm pretty sure these cuts were put in to balance this flywheel. I don't know how many tons this thing weighs, but it was just a daunting task. Here's some old wood. I think these are some of the paddles from the older fan here, from this, because they have this mechanism suspended on some new stock here. And I mean, this is well put together. Whoever did this, they did a nice job for a temporary stand for this fan. I think this might be one of the wooden fans. And massive metal. Look at this shaft. This shaft has to be at least a foot in diameter, and they had to cut that with a torch. Now they'll probably have a coupler to refasten all this back together. It'll engineer ways to get this up and working. It shouldn't be that hard. But you imagine the torch it took to cut through that. I mean, that has to be a foot in diameter. 12 inches, easy. And yeah, you can see some of the wooden structure. Some of it got burnt. I don't know if that's from when they were disassembling it with a torch, or if that's from vandals. Very neat. But I wanted to spotlight this here at the Myers Festival. I'll turn you. Okay, that's where the Dorrance fan houses ended up. And I said, look at on the description. I'll put links to the other channel. I think it was JP was up to them when they were assembled, so that gives you a perspective of how huge these things are. So, all right, thanks for joining me on the Coal Cracker. Please like, share, subscribe. I hope you come down here to this festival. If I see you, I'll put you down in the description as one of my viewers were here. So, all right, until then, that's it. See ya.